Hey guys, happy Thursday to you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great training day. We had a viewer send in a request, and basically she was just kind of asking, hey Bryan, I've got a problem. You know those scooters that everyone's renting nowadays and driving back and forth downtown to a restaurant, down sidewalks, streets, you name it, all over the place. And I know what she's talking about. We see those things everywhere. Now, of course, you only see them in the summertime. Not a whole lot of people are brave enough and are hardy enough to ride them during the wintertime. But her dog goes after them. Every single time that dog goes after those. And she says, you know, I don't have any other issues. That's really it. It's just my dog attacks anything that goes by it that looks like one of those scooters. So I asked a friend, and what did the friend tell me to do? Well, the friend said, all you need to do is expose your dog to the scooters. And if you expose your dog long enough, then your dog will just kind of get used to them and the problem will go away. So she asked me, Bryan, is she right? Is my friend correct? Well, half yes, half no. So let me kind of just go over both halves with you here. Come on, Cal, dog. As you see, I got Captain out here. Why do I have Captain out here during this moment here? Because he has some of a similar problem with this. Scooters, skateboards, bicyclists, you name it. It really wasn't fear as much as it was the cattle dog in him. Oh, he wanted to get after it. Oh my gosh, if those things went by, he's thinking, somewhere in my genetic makeup, that thing's got to be like a cow. And I need to move that thing. And cattle dogs are bred to move reluctant animals like cattle with their teeth by chasing them, motivating them, move that way. So that's just in his genetic makeup. He loves going after them. So it's not really a fear thing for him. And it doesn't seem to be a fear thing for my client as well. So that being said, how do we make this thing go away? Will habituation make it go away? Well, first of all, what is habituation? That's the good news here. That can work. And habituation is when we have a decrease in response to a stimulus after repeatedly being exposed to it over and over again. You can achieve habituation. Humans do it all the time to many things, from trains that run in the middle of the night to clocks that are ticking in their room to even traffic. They just kind of get habituated to a lot of traffic. And that's kind of like what we're doing right now. I've got Joshua and Evan riding by on a scooter and riding by on a skateboard. And yeah, I'm kind of exposing Captain to all of those. But here's the bad news. Here's the bad news. The undesired behavior can be reinforced. It can. Meaning, right now, if I allow Captain to give any pursuit whatsoever of Joshua going by on the scooter or Evan going by on the skateboard, if he goes after it in any way, even leans forward, even just like a little quick of nip there, any action on his part, if those things keep going, you know, you're not going to have these people circling like circling the wagons here type situation in real life like I'm doing now. But if they just keep going, then it's really capable of Captain to perceive that my actions created that outcome, meaning, hey, my little nip, my little lunge, whatever, that caused those things to go away. It did. So if you're not careful, if you just expose your dog only, you don't make your dog sit or make your dog be quiet, if you don't do any of those things, then your dog could perceive that any action it takes, and it can even just be a look, again, it's all up to the dog, it's not up to you, that my actions made those go away. So that's the bad news. You can't just do this job halfway. I just can't bring Captain out here like I'm doing right now and just kind of let him hang out here on the end of this leash. No, because again, I could be reinforcing through exposure his actions to make these things go away. And if it's a fearful animal, I guarantee those actions will escalate and escalate in a real hurry. And also, the other little bit of bad news on this whole thing. If you only train to one stimulus, this is known again as specific stimulus response deactivation. SSRD, specific stimulus response deactivation. If you only deactivate to a specific stimulus, well then that's really what you typically get. You get an animal that will ignore scooters, but man, it'll go after everything else. Everything else. So it doesn't guarantee that your dog will ignore bicycles. It doesn't guarantee that your dog will ignore a motorcycle, a car, anything. It can even start to boil down into joggers, anything that just moves quickly. So be careful with that. You got to make sure that when you do this, again, you know me, preparation. I'm always thinking long term. I'm always looking around that curve. I'm never looking down a straight road. I'm looking at many, many curves. And that means if I was going to tackle the situation, I've got a dog going after scooters, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm simply going to teach the dog to deactivate upon command, regardless of the environment in which it's in, regardless of whether the fact that there's scooters present or not, regardless of whatever there is. In other words, if I tell Captain, come here, cow dog, down. If I tell him down, or I say, sit, attaboy, I want him to do that, and I'm going to reward him for doing that. I'm going to make him form the sit here. I'm going to deactivate his response. You hold that sit, you keep doing this thing, regardless of whether they go by or not. You do this thing. Then I can tell him free, I can move around some, come back, sit, good boy. And even by making him sit, I'm pulling half of his brain cells and half of his observation capability and putting it on me. So I'm taking some away from these scooters and skateboards and putting that focus on me. So I'm now having the animal refocus its abilities to deal with this on just now doing what I tell it to do instead of now wanting to go after these animals. Animals. All right, okay, yeah, they're a bunch of animals, trust me. Like a bunch of circus clowns is really what they are. But you get my point here. If you're going to do this, free cattle dog, if you're going to do this, what we call specific stimulus response deactivation, make sure that you work it at many levels. Make sure you expose the dog to many things. Don't just go after that one. I know that's your concern, but trust me, I've seen animals abandon the scooters and then go after the skateboard. Then they go after the bicycle. It's almost as though there's this nervous energy in them, and then there needs to be an outlet for that. They have to have some sort of outlet. So you take away that outlet, chasing the scooters, and now all of a sudden, I'll put it out on something else. I'll use something else as that escape. Okay, so in review, real quick, habituation can work, but you've got to watch out and make sure that your dog is not performing any behavior that could be interpreted even by you that, hey, maybe you think you just ran those things off. Watch out for that. Make sure, because that's reinforcing the behavior. Make sure that you do it around many moving things, not just one, many moving things. Even if Captain doesn't have a problem with the skateboard, sit, I'm still going to make him sit anyway. So yeah, you're still going to have to sit. Do it. Get used to sitting. Get used to sitting upon command. Get used to sitting whenever we're outdoors. Get used to sitting while we're on a walk. Get used to sitting while there's a ton of traffic, ton of people, and sometimes there's nothing. So in the middle of nowhere on a walk, just the two of us walking, I'm going to stop and make you sit. Get used to doing that. Get used to responding to this signal, not those signals. And that'll help you get through this thing. And that's doing the job in its entirety. Not just halfway, its entirety. Now you've taken care of everything, because now we're working on come on over here, cow dog, sit. We're working on the animal being deactivated upon command, period. Okay, guys, that's it today. There you go. So you kind of learned a new little term today, specific stimulus response deactivation, SSRD. If you do it, do the job the whole way through. Perform it with everything. All right, guys, you ready, cow dog? Free. Good job, buddy. Let me give you a treat there. Okay, you guys have a great training day. I'll check you guys out tomorrow. Take care. Free, cow dog. Come on, buddy.